now I'm on the hunt for Basketmaker petroglyphs. That is petroglyphs that are from people who are pre-agriculture or very, very early agriculture, almost like accidental agriculture. Just beginning to settle and make permanent villages, probably at a time when they had been hunter-gatherers, but the climate started to change and the game that they wanted was becoming more scarce, and so agriculture was a better option when possible, and so started to make little villages. And when they started to make villages, then they started to invest in the landscape and leave traces that they were there, like petroglyphs. So the archaic period is from, in this part, I'm in Petrified Forest National Park in this region. The archaic period is like from 6000 BC to 1, and then Basketmakers are from about the year 1 to 300. Of course, there's overlap. So Basketmaker could be, any time before the year 1, really, and up to about the year 700 Common Era. So the reason I think that they're interesting is because out here in Arizona, there's tons, way too much Pueblo petroglyphs. You can't sneeze without getting some snot on a Pueblo petroglyph. There is so much of it. And so I decided to go earlier because these people are a little bit intriguing. They are not necessarily the same people. Okay, the Pueblo people may have been influenced by other cultures coming from the south, like Mexico area, for example, whereas Basketmaker are pretty, like, solidly indigenous to North America from deep antiquity. So their influences are a little different, and because they were nomadic, they were just coming out of being nomadic, their petroglyphs are rarer. There's much less incidence of them, simply because they weren't settled in one place for very long enough to invest in the landscape. So we're looking for old, and rare. As we're looking around at the petroglyphs, this is what we're keeping our eyes peeled for. Ovalish bodies with cross hatches in them. The bodies are hollow except for some lines. Tiny heads, skinny arms, skinny little legs. And as far as the animals, sort of the same thing, hollow-bodied animals, skinny legs, tiny heads, and then just abstract. Possibly this, with the drapey hands and a little bit broader shoulders, but probably not this. This might be a little bit of a different region, maybe even a little bit later style. This. I'm already starting to find some petroglyphs. See newer ones with a brighter color, and then down here older with dark. They're becoming repatinated because they've been there so long. I see some on a rock nearby too. And I'm not saying these are Basketmaker, maybe they are, but I'm just saying I'm starting to see petroglyphs on these rocks. What's so hard about finding these Basketmaker petroglyphs is they don't stand out. Like, you can't really see them from a distance, right? Because they're the same color as the patina on the rock. They blend right in. So you literally have to walk up to every single boulder that has desert varnish on it and inspect to see if you can see etchings in the surface. And of course, a lot of the time you don't, like here. But you can't know until you until you kind of just check it out. But also, one thing is that the Pueblo people, the later times, they would. Seems like they used to carve on the same places where the Basketmaker people did. So sometimes you can get flagged by what's there from a more recent period. Standards of any time period, these are so elegant and pretty. I better bring the ancient alien advocates out here. They love this kind of stuff. They'd be the first ones to turn that into a rocket ship, shooting off into the star. Yeah, that kind of technology is a lower technology. That's our technology. When you had ancient technology, you knew how to use the earth energy. Using the tools of your body, using magnetics, using things that we don't even think of as real. They did it all without one scrap of iron. Oh my God, here we go. Okay, I have a wonderfully crass friend who likes to say, this is the clitoris of this exploration. Okay, you see those bright guys right there. But look what's faded. Basketmaker! They've got the tiny heads, the big oval bodies, and by the way, when they're oval bodies and see-through like that, that's old Basketmaker. That's early Basketmaker. We're not talking about, moving into the Pueblo period. We're talking about really old. Can you even see these? They're almost totally repatinated. I hope you can see this. The Pueblo ones are oh, sorry for the loud train. That's the Santa Fe Railroad. The Pueblo petroglyphs are really easy to see, and the Basketmaker ones, holy cow! Oh, they're big too. Can barely see them. They're totally back to the original color of the rock. Some of them. I'm dying. This is incredibly cool. They were hanging out by this major river, the Puerco River. Just eating all the good stuff and having tons of water. This is a great way to compare. We're definitely looking at 2 to 3 different time periods. We've got really dark. There's another one, it's so hard to see right above it. It looks like, kind of like a bear paw or something like that. And then the squiggly thingy, a little newer. because it's lighter but still dark. And this one, a lot lighter. Now over here, this is so old. It's really hard to, oh gosh, it's really hard to make out. But it starts down here and then works its way up. Kind of like a spider-shaped thing there to the left. Notice that. And then somewhere around the middle, there's kind of a wishbone shape that comes out to the right. I don't know if I'm looking at this, right side up, upside down. See, this one looks a little bit like what's down on that other rock that's harder to make out. Maybe that is something similar. It's like a anthropomorph with a whole bunch of ladder arms. My imagination is that a shaman came here and carved an image of a great spirit into this rock, faces the south and faces the great source of life, which is the Puerco River. And he would sit down on this platform, viewing platform, this big slab of rock that's in front of it, a sacred image, and he would watch the sky. And he would watch the river of life running before him. And he would have a transcendental experience of ultimate transcendence and gratitude. Well, we saw some, but they were few, as promised. Rare, rare, rare. We saw a lot of Pueblo petroglyphs. So I guess the thing to be learned from this adventure is follow the wisdom of your ancestors. Look at how few basketmakers were here in the early days, but they knew a good thing when they saw it, didn't they? Because later the Pueblo people inundated this place as the climate got worse and worse further to the east. People started moving further to the west, and out here became, densely populated with people of the Pueblo period, until ultimately they had to move on from here and go even further west to better climate. But the Basketmakers, they knew. They had the inside dope on the Petrified Forest National Park.